Welcome to Entrepreneurship at Rowan, an official production of the award-winning Rowan Center for Innovation and Entrepreneurship. We cover the entrepreneurial pulse of Rowan students, faculty, and alumni, prepared to be Rowan proud.
Hello, Rowan community. My name is Ashley Kulikowski, and I am your host for Season 3 of Entrepreneurship at Rowan. Today, we have Rowan University alumni Fred Hodge joining us in the studio. Fred is the president and co-founder of Clearview Washing, LLC. Welcome, Fred.
Thank you so much for having me, Ashley.
We're excited to have you. So Fred is an alumni of Rowan University, also the first class to graduate within the Entrepreneurship Center, right?
Yeah, and it feels great to be back. Just being on the campus feels awesome.
Yeah, so when did you graduate?
So I graduated in 2006.
Oh my goodness. So, and we were just talking before this, everyone, all the listeners out there, just to hear a little bit of his story so far. I'm really excited for this interview. I know it will be insightful. We're excited to have you on Entrepreneurship at Rowan. You were the first graduating class of the Entrepreneurship Center within Rowan. You started your business in college, which is super cool. So what we want to hear is about how you started your journey to becoming the president and co-founder of Clearview Washing, LLC.
Yeah, absolutely. So it was really cool being able to apply, actually having the business to school, and my business plan was on, like I told you before the podcast has started, my business plan was on Clearview, and at the time it was Clearview Window Washing LLC.
Oh, wow.
So years later we dropped the window because I didn't want to just be known as for window cleaning. So
yeah.
Wanted the whole array of exterior cleaning, so we dropped the window part. But back then I was applying my business plan to Clearview Window Washing LLC, and that was a really cool experience. But the whole journey basically started when I was 19 years old. One day, my dad was like, we're going to go clean some windows. And I'm like, what do you mean we're going to go clean some windows? And because someone was scheduled to go to my parents' house for $350. The guy didn't show up. He didn't call. He didn't anything. And we thought that was kind of weird. And $350 back then when I was in college, I'm like, to clean some windows, that's not a bad gig. So
yeah.
My dad looked into it further, and next thing I know, he's waking me up on a Saturday. And he's like, we're going to go clean some windows. So next thing I know, I'm cleaning some windows, and it's going to make me sound really old, but this is back when you actually put ads in the newspaper, and we put an ad in the newspaper back then.
I love it.
And we got our second job, and I remember going up there, and I'm swatting bees away from me because we're still doing it the old school squeegee and are trying to figure all this out. But my dad had a full-time job in the city. Obviously, I was a student. So we decided that I decided that I was going to make that my business at that point. I'm like, you know what? I see something here. There's something tangible. We can work with this. And we kind of got the ball rolling. We worked 3 days a week, and then I worked 4 days a week, and then it might be 2 days a week. And you're kind of building up steam. But it's not an everyday thing at this point. So then I was trying to put it with my schedule. So obviously when it was actually in season for the semester, I would build my schedule. So Monday through Thursday, I would have all my classes, and then I'd travel back to Freehold, and I would try to work from Friday morning, Saturday, Sunday, and then come back Sunday night and be ready to go for classes. So I was trying to keep things going as things were going along with school as well. And I kept growing it, and it got to a point that someone was selling their business, and the guy was terminally ill with cancer.
Oh.
And obviously that was unfortunate, but he wanted to see his customers taken care of. He wanted to get something to give to his kids. And it was the right fit for both of us. So I bought his business, and that kind of gave us, now we were working 5 days a week, and it was maybe we can add a second crew. And it kind of it took a while because as everyone knows, when you're an entrepreneur, especially early on, you're wearing every hat there is.
You are,
so,
yeah.
It's painful. Thinking back to some of those days, it's kind of painful. You would do all the work, and then you'd come home, and then it's oh, well, you got to do these estimates. You got to call these people. And it's I don't want to do this. I just want to take a shower and lay down. But you'd be all right, from 7 to 8, I'm going to make these phone calls. And then tomorrow I'm going to do these estimates while I send these guys to this job. And you just kind of make it happen. You're putting all your blood, sweat, and tears into it. So it was a lot of hard work that went into it, but we kind of kept building. And then another offer approach where a guy was getting out of the business. He was selling it. And we took advantage of that opportunity. And before you knew it, people were asking for other services. Now it was oh, you do power washing, gutter cleaning. What about roof cleaning? And before you knew it, we were kind of adding on there. So I started to give out the hats. So one of the first ones was my mom was helping me all behind the scenes. Even when she had a job, she'd be like,
"Oh yeah,
when I get back at 4, from 4 to like 6, I'll help you with some of the phone calls." And like she was a real team player from the get go. My dad eventually came back. He had some other ventures, but he left the city, and he came back, and I I needed help with the sales. So like I gave my sales hat to him. At a certain point, my brother came on board, and he'd been working throughout the years like as a technician. But then once he came back on board, I'm like, all right, you're going to be one of my operations managers. And then my wife, when we had our baby, she was in corporate America she was a paralegal at a pharmaceutical company for over 10 years. And after she had our first baby, she was helping me all while she was pregnant.
Yeah.
And then she had our first daughter, and she was like, I don't really want to go back anymore because like we live in like Little Silver Red Bank area, and her job was in Princeton, and she's like, I don't want to make that commute every day.
Oh, that's hard, yeah.
And she's like, I really think I can be an asset to Clearview, and I was like, I saw that like throughout the whole time that Gabriella was in you, like you were helping me because you were off from work. I was like, I've seen you like so much happen. So she came on board, and then after a couple of years, she really helped us step up the technology aspect of things, and that's when like it really all clicked because we were still at that point like still writing out estimates and invoices and that stuff, and it didn't give us the potential for the growth. So like her coming on board, so I eventually made her the CEO of the company. And she helped us a lot. So it's been a long ride, incredible. And it's like slow but surely like kind of picking up momentum, and like me and my wife did a presentation to other entrepreneurs, especially in the exterior cleaning field back in August.
Yeah.
And we showed like over the 18 years, she pulled the numbers, and you see like the chart, and it looks like prairie land, like where there's like a very gradual incline for a little bit. And then all of a sudden we started introducing some technology and stuff. And it's like, all right, we start seeing some elevation here. And then it's like, once we refined everything and we got our whole follow-up sequence and making sure our marketing was kind of diverse and it was like a well-diversified portfolio.
Yes.
Making sure we had our employment and our hiring process down, and our culture and our systems and our everything you can think of. Then all of a sudden it gives that ability to like really reach the elevations. But like everyone like nowadays is always in that mode. Like I want to do it now. It's not happening quick enough.
Yeah.
Like, oh, it's taking too long. I thought if I did this for a little bit, like I want people to see that like it's taken a really long time. Like we're finally at a point that at the peak of our season this year, we're up to 26 employees. We had 4 sales guys, 2 residential, 2 commercial. We have 3 in the office.
Oh my goodness.
2 operations managers, 1 residential, 1 commercial. And then 16 field technicians. 8 of them are crew leaders, and 8 of them are the assistants. And we were sending out 8 crews per day. And we built that up each and every year. It didn't start from
Well, it's not
nothing.
a fast food society, but we live in that where people think that like, okay, you want a hamburger, you can go to McDonald's, get one, and that's it. And they think that applies to every area of life. And entrepreneurship, it does not. You have a big team to provide so many different services. So can you share with us the different services that you provide right now?
Yeah, absolutely. So we consider ourselves full exterior cleaning, anything you need on the exterior, but I'll dive deeper into what that means. But we also on the interior do interior windows, and we do chandeliers. But on the exterior, that means the roof or the house or the deck or the patio or the fence or driveways or concrete or pavers or pretty much anything you can think of that needs a cleaning. But we also have some of our niche specialties too. So some of those, like I said, is the chandelier. Like no one else cleans really chandeliers.
Yeah.
We also offer shrink wrapping of outdoor furniture to prepare people's furniture for the wintertime.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's something we added 2 years ago, and it's really starting to pick up some steam. And like, especially being in New Jersey, and we get the 4 seasons like we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
And people have this teak and this cast iron and this really expensive Fortune off or this place, and it's all expensive stuff. So they don't always have a big shed or can bring it in the house or want to even do any of that stuff. So we come and we make it really nice and pretty, and we wrap it up. We shrink wrap the entire thing. We encapsulate it, and we put a vent on it so that basically it's protected through the winter between any rain, snow, wind, you name it, and even animals and critters. It's really thick stuff, so it really protects the furniture really well. So.
This is awesome to know all of the services. So like it started off with windows, and then it has evolved into so much much more. And it's so innovative, honestly, because these are things that we need.
Yeah.
We need for all of the seasons.
Yeah, and then the only other service that I probably miss is commercial solar cleaning, because
Okay.
New Jersey is like a little mini California at this point. Wants everything green, so that means more solar. Which
Yes.
everyone wants to tell you that like solar is going to be clean just from rain, but in reality, that's not how it works. So we've gotten some really good contracts, even with Amazon and Edison and other locations, to clean their solar facilities to
That's
make
awesome.
sure that it's free of all the carbon, it's free of bird debris, it's free of anything that's going to basically impact the amount of energy it gets from the sun. So that's another one of our niche markets, is the commercial solar.
So can you talk about how you have learned how to be an effective leader within your business?
Absolutely. So there's a lot of different ways to do that. I think communication is key, but I think also defined roles and making sure everyone knows what their role in the company is, making sure everyone's working on the same page and sees the vision. That's one of, as the president, I feel like that's one of my things, is keep pushing everyone towards the goal. Like if anyone's kind of veering off or they're seeing things different, it's my job is to kind of caress that and say, hey, this is what we're doing. This is where we're going. And like, that's part of the whole culture and everything that's going on. And like, that's part of like, I want to grow the company because I also want to create new positions for the people that are working so dang hard for me right now to promote them. So like one of the big moments that we had was when we realized we weren't offering a job anymore. We're offering a career. And like our whole philosophy and mentality changed in that moment. And I just want to make sure that I'm there for them and set that up, and really that's where we're at.
I definitely see that passion and culture here at Rowan. So like as a Rowan alumni, you were in the first graduating class as an entrepreneurship major, which is now an award-winning program. They just shared that within the Princeton Review.
Really cool.
It's wild.
And even just the whole building, the setup, and the resources, and having the Starbucks equivalent inside there, so like the students could learn. Like all that is so.
Yeah, well, the president of Saxby's will come in and do coffee with an entrepreneur. Like the Rowan really does give back. So I want to know really about your experience here at Rowan. How do you believe that Rowan University prepared you as an entrepreneur and helped you really start and run a successful business today?
Yeah, so there's a lot of things that go into it. So as an entrepreneur, they're like, especially at the ages when you're in college, you can be molded and pointed in the right direction. And I got a lot of guidance, and I really, really respected all of my professors back then. Dr. Weaver was in charge, and I got surprised that I got asked to be on the Entrepreneurship Advisory Council this past May. And
that's awesome.
At the meeting, Dr. Weaver now lives down in Louisiana, and he's started the program here. And he was there for the council, and I had gotten to see him after 16 years. And he's like, "You're still doing the window cleaning business?" I'm like, "Yep." And I was explaining how we're cleaning with drones and stuff now. And he was like, "My mind is blown." He's like, "This is awesome." He's like, "Please call me, and I want to keep in touch even more." And like, so like there was personal relationships and just so many good people that helped see what I was doing, see where I was trying to do, and they helped kind of craft it and help give me the resources and just try to help give me the direction I needed. Because the thing that brought me to Rowan was the entrepreneurship program. That was really what it was at the time, because I knew I wanted to become an entrepreneur. I knew that I wanted to dictate what I wanted to do in life. So I needed to be as well-rounded. And as an entrepreneur, I didn't want to just go to any university and be a marketing major, because ultimately that's what I would have been, because that's my talent. And like, but I was better served coming to Rowan and doing the entrepreneurship program and being forced to do some of the finance and the accounting, because those are not my strongest suits. And that's not the stuff I enjoy. Those are the hats I gave off, and I monitor, and I need to know my different numbers, my KPIs and all that, but it doesn't mean I have to personally do it. So like there's certain things like, but by going to Rowan in those early years, I was able to also learn the management. And one of the things that really stood out to me, like the most, I'd say, so was the actual people that came and spoke to the classes when I attended Rowan. For whatever reason, like I just really I was like a sponge, and I was just absorbing all of it. And I just remember thinking, like, asking so many questions. Like I was never that type of guy in class that asked that many questions earlier on in life. But here I am at college, and like guest speaker, I'm like firing away questions, because I'm like, now I'm really engaged and really interested.
Yeah.
This is like, hon, you own 12 Quiznos at the time, or hon, I think it was Honest Tea, like the guy was there, and then there was another guy from the tool company, Mac Tools, I think. So it was like really cool stuff and people that brought a lot of information to the table. And I thought that was so cool. And that's why when I was talking to Dr. Liguri, I was like, listen, I'm like, anytime I can help come down to a podcast. Or last week, I actually did Coffee with an Entrepreneur. Unfortunately, the power was out over at the building, so I did it via Zoom. But regardless, I'm like, if I can help, and I got a few messages from people that were on there, and they're like, send me nice messages. So like, if I can help, like even a few people, that to me it's worth it, and I'm happy to do it. So just let me know, let me know what I can do, and that's why they asked me to be on the Entrepreneurship Advisory Council. I was happy to say yes, and happy to help in any way I can. Like even judging the business plans and giving feedback to the entrepreneurs was like the entrepreneurs was a really cool.
Wait, were you on the venture competition?
Yeah, back in I guess April was it or whenever it was? Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome! You judged mine.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. No problem. So I enjoyed going around and seeing all that and kind of doing that. I thought that was really, really cool and an opportunity to speak to them and ask them questions and blown away by some of the answers because some of them they're like some of the questions is like, all right, that answer, that's impressive. And then other ones it's like they didn't have the answer, but it's like maybe that will lead them to go research and figure that out. Like that's good too.
It's like, giving them support and like guidance in a way.
Exactly.
Rowan has really like mentored you in a way as a student, right? A student entrepreneur because you started in college. And along with that, you have taken every resource possible. You said you were a sponge. I love that. You absorbed every resource possible and you continue to run a successful company, but you also just shared a little bit ago about now being a business coach. Yeah. So can you share with me how that vision came to mind of being a business coach and really the transition into that?
I was able to free up some of my time, and my day-to-day is more meetings for the departments, marketing, but I did have time available to myself. And there was a program called Conquer, and I was aware of it, and I thought about signing up myself earlier on, but I kind of had surpassed, I felt at that point where if it was available years earlier, I would have joined. So I had reached out to the person that started the whole program, and I saw it was really kind of exploding, especially in the home service sector across the country. And I saw that it wasn't just exterior cleaners, it was HVAC and carpet cleaners and you name it. Like it was any type of service. So I reached out and I explained kind of where the company is with like how many employees and our stats and everything like that. And he was like, wow, Fred. He's like, because I told him, I said, Brandon, I've been following your advice. And if you said jump, I'd say how high. And I'm like, because at the bottom line, I respected and I knew that this guy built his company at $5 million. He eventually sold his off. And he's doing this Conquer and a bunch of other cool things. And I'm like, I want to do that. And he's like, I could tell everyone the blueprint, but only 2%, 1% are actually going to follow through. So like you can like, as much information's out there, like you still have to actually do it and apply it. So I went through interviews and I had questions. I was answering questions and it was a really cool moment because it's not very often entrepreneur you get feedback like this, but they had like a test. And I think that I forget how many people had filled it out, but he had told me like 500 people. And the guy that was interviewing me said that was the best answers he had ever read on the answers to that test. And I'm like, wow, I'm like that felt really good in that moment. Like, and they asked me to be one of the coaches going to the coaching program. And I started coaching back in, I graduated in, I guess, June of this year. And I have 5 people under me and 5 conquerors that I'm coaching right now.
Wow, that's incredible.
And it's going to be up to around 20 probably people that I'll be coaching.
Yeah.
And I'm really, really enjoying it because they're at points in their companies and they keep them like in groups of 4 in the same income bracket. So it doesn't have to be service or location, none of that matters, but it's just basically making sure that like, hey, all 4 companies are in that general like 350 to 450 range. And then this group might be in the 650 to 750 range. And just because it's more relatable and they're able to help each other. But it felt really good because a couple of weeks ago, one of my conquerors was in there, and it's a husband and wife, so they both joined, and they work together. And the wife was about to have a baby very soon, and I'm really excited for them. But they had 1 employee plus the husband, and the husband's like, I'm going to really be tied up with the baby. He's like, I don't know what to do. I can't find an employee anywhere.
Yeah.
And I'm like, here's my job posting. Make some tweaks, make it your own, so nothing's like misleading or inaccurate. But like fix it, make it your own, and post it on Indeed. He called me the next day, like almost in tears. He's like, Fred, he's like, I got 17 applicants and I have 2 more guys. And he's like, and the wife ended up having to have the baby didn't turn. So the wife had to have a C-section, and the beautiful baby Gianna was born this past weekend. So it came early. It's a good thing they got this in place because the baby ended up coming early.
Yeah.
And it felt good to be able to guide him because they just didn't know where to look. Because I even have I don't know if I have one right now in my wallet, but we have cards that say, "You were awesome. Come work for us." And because once COVID happened,
love that.
once COVID happened, the whole hiring game changed. So you have to adapt with it. So it's why does someone want to work? I took the approach to finding employees the same way I do trying to attract customers. It's why should Ashley want to work for Fred? What do you have to offer? What do you have going on? I made it a point to make it more get unique with it.
Are you hiring now? Fred's going to hire me, friends. No, it's awesome.
Yeah, so you really do have to be creative and take a different approach. And once we made that approach and we showed people what's going on behind the doors, show them that it's a career, not a job, it's really... Because you're only as good as your weakest link, too. So it took a really long time to figure that out. And it's I could have 12 awesome guys, but if I have one or two knuckleheads, it's ruining everything.
It changes the culture.
Yeah, it changes
and you want
the
to
culture.
Keep that.
He's putting up with this or he's tolerating this. The customer is only complaining about this guy. It's no good. You got to cut it out. You have to set up systems. You have to set up policies. You have to give them, this is what I expect of you. Because I'm a big believer in the carrot and the stick. Yeah. So you got to reward people when they're doing really good, but you have to punish them when they're doing stuff they're not, or else it's going to be a free for all, and that's a constant struggle. It's not I'm not going to sit here and say I'm the master of that. I'm not, and I'm constantly trying to enforce certain things and making sure that everyone's hey, this is how it works. I want to take care of you when you're taking care of me, but if you're screwing something up, we also have to address that. Or if you're not showing up on time, or in your uniform, or putting on a yard sign, or clocking out properly, or whatever the case may be. We need to make sure that we're on the same page here.
One piece of advice that our listeners who are maybe they're on the idea stage, maybe they don't have an idea just yet, but they know that they want to be an entrepreneur. What's one piece of advice you would give to them?
Do it. And especially if you're young, do it now. It gets so much more complex later. I see people my age, and I'm a dinosaur now at 38, and they have families and they can't, it's hard to make that jump now. So especially if you're a student right now, just do it. Make the jump. It's scary. It's going to be scary. Maybe set yourself up for the most success you can have, but don't sit there waiting in the wind. I'm going to do this, or thinking about doing this, or you got one foot in. It's one of those things. It's as an entrepreneur, they always say that you jump off the cliff and you build the plane on the way down. You're going to have to do that at a certain point. You have that safety net of maybe your job and your income right now. And you're I can't lose that. I can't lose it. So maybe save up for a couple months and be at that point, I'm taking this plunge and come hell or high water, I'm gonna make this work, and you'll be resourceful. You'll be trust me. I love good food now, but I sacrificed and ate crappy sandwiches for a long time just to make things happen too. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
it's just take that time, and I think you'll thank yourself later on if you take that step now, because it's just going to get harder later on. There's always going to be a later. There's always going to be I should have did this, or I could have did this. If you know in your heart you're an entrepreneur, take the plunge and build the plan on the way down.
I love that. Good things come with, from what you just said, sacrifice, hard work, and courage.
Yeah, because I was able to set myself up, so now I put in those crazy hours and working weekends, so that now that I'm at that age where I have that 5 and the 3-year-old, I cut off every day at 4 p.m. and I don't work any weekends. And you know what? That's worth gold. That's worth gold. That's worth so much money that I don't have to do. I have my night times and my weekends with my family, which is the most important. And that's because of the hard work I put in when I was 19, 20, 21, 22, and 23. I love
that. You're able to have that healthy work-life balance and enjoy your family.
So set yourself. You'll thank yourself later if you're able to put in that hard work now.
I love that. Oh my goodness. Well, we've come to the end of this podcast, but Fred, how can they contact your business? How can they contact you, your website, social media handles? Share all about it.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're big on anything social media. So It's not too hard to find us. We're Clearview Washing LLC. You can find us on Facebook. You can find us on Instagram. You can find us on YouTube. You can find us on Google. And you can also check us out for all these entrepreneurs. And make sure your butts are on LinkedIn.
Yes.
Definitely check us out on LinkedIn, because I thought LinkedIn was just a white-collar trading resumes, and it's not. It's just property and facility managers and all, whatever line of work you're in, they're out there. So connect with us on LinkedIn and check out our website, clearviewwashing.com, and you can see more about our services, see about us, and I'd love to connect. I'd love to meet other people down here and see anyone I can help. I'd love to do that.
Oh, thank you so much, Fred. You were an incredible guest. I'm taking so much insight that you provided home with me. I need to re-listen to all of this so I can take notes at the same time. But thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me, and anytime I could help, I'd be more than happy to.
Thank you, listeners, for joining us at Entrepreneurship at Rowan. Of course, stay tuned for more episodes that are coming just like Fred's. You will gain so much knowledge and also courage to take that next step. Have a great day.
Thank you for listening. Rowan is proud to be an official knowledge hub of the International Council for Small Business. Our AACSB award-winning entrepreneurship programs challenge students to solve real problems in bold and impactful ways. If you're interested in supporting entrepreneurship at Rowan, or want to get more involved by hiring an intern, speaking to a class, or being featured as a case study, contact us at rcie@rowan.edu.